Today we're playing the fastest deck in Legacy. No, it's not Oops All Spells, it's Turbo Necrodominance Combo. Let's go check it out. In front of you is Turbo Necrodominance Combo, and it is the fastest deck in Legacy, or at least so in my opinion. So how this deck works is pretty simple. You would like to play a turn 1 Necrodominance, often off of Dark Ritual. So this 3 black mana enchantment, you skip your draw step at the beginning of your end step, you may pay any amount of life, you draw cards equal to that amount, and then if a card would be put to the graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So you've now assembled this 3 mana enchantment that's on the table, you go to your end step, you pay 19 life, you draw 19 cards. From there, you use Elvish Spirit Guide and Simian Spirit Guide. Sometimes you'll even Summoner's Pact for another Elvish Spirit Guide, and then you'll make mana. You then want to play Manamorphose to filter that red and green mana into blue mana. You now cast Borne Upon a Wind. Now you can play all of your spells at instant speed, including things like Lotus Petal that you could traditionally only play at sorcery speed. Now you can play things like Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, etc. into Beseech the Mirror, that then finds your Tendrils of Agony to deal your opponent lethal. This is a turbo fast combo deck that is often backed up by Pact of Negation, which makes it a dangerous combo in the format. So I'm making a change today, and I've thought a lot about this in my previous videos that are probably 6 months to a year ago. I've put this deck down for a little bit, and then recently I've been, thinking about what it needs in order to compete in today's metagame. So this deck is really all in on the Necrodominance, and that can sometimes be problematic because you use your life total as a resource, so aggressive strategies can really weaken you. Alright, well that's not great, so every point of damage really matters. Okay, or things like Disruptor Flute, which was also printed in Modern Horizons 3, fun fact, just like Necrodominance. That makes the Necrodominance cost 6 mana, and then your deck really doesn't function because this deck is designed to make 3 mana or even 4, not 6. So by having Gaia's Will in your deck, which is a card we play in Legacy the Epic Storm, you now have a plan B. So if your life total is low from Necrodominance, you don't have to care because Gaia's will still cleanly win the game. It's a deterministic combo with Beseech the Mirror. So you don't have to risk Necrodominance, the 19 cards not being good enough. Gaia's Will is just, you're dead. Assuming that your graveyard isn't touched, it's lethal. So that's one nice aspect. Another is, if for some reason your opponent discards a Tendrils of Agony, you don't flat out lose the game. So now you have a way of recurring the Tendrils of Agony with Gaia's Will. Okay, so you don't have to care about life total, Disruptor Flute, Tendrils of Agony being discarded, and it's deterministic. These are all great things. And I think that's a good enough reason to play this Gaia's Will today. It comes at the cost of the 4th copy of Summoner's Pact, which I think is just fine because sometimes these end up being dead in the middle of your combo chain anyway. In the sideboard, I've made a slight adjustment to include a couple copies of Nature's Claim over the 4th copy of Mindbreak Trap and the Foundation Breaker. I found that Foundation Breaker for Summoner's Pact was just too slow and clunky, so we're not going to play it. Instead, we're going to run the Nature's Claims instead, which are often better mid-combo anyway, because after you draw 19, you can remove an Elvish Spirit Guide and blow something up with the Nature's Claim anyway. So that's my deck tech, short and sweet. I hope you liked it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Let me know what you think of this deck in the comment section. And for now, we're going to hop on into match number 1. I hope to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Necrodominance Combo. We're on the play. Turn 1 Necrodominance backed by Pact of Negation? Sign me up. We'll play Vault of Whispers, Dark Ritual, Necrodominance. And that just resolved. You love to see it. And now we'll pay 19 life. Okay. It looks like we have everything we need in order to win here. I'll use the Summoner's Pact, grab Elvish Spirit Guide, use it, we'll Manamorphose, we'll make blue-black, Cast Borne Upon a Wind, Dark Ritual, and now we can play the rest of our cards at instant speed, including these artifacts. Cast Cabal Ritual, and Tendrils of Agony. Okay, so we got game number 1. Looking at our opponent's last posted list, it is the Affinity, Stompy, whatever you would like to call it deck, but they're actually not playing Chalice of the Void, so I think all we need here is our copies of Duress, and then you're supposed to shave a Chrome Mox, maybe a second Chrome Mox, and then a couple copies of Beseech the Mirror. You could also get rid of a Summoner's Pact. Maybe that would actually be better. We'll board out 3 Summoner's Packs. We'll board back in a third Beseech the Mirror and both Chrome Moxes, because that way you still have access to Gaia's Will. Yeah, let's try this out. The games are a little bit slower, so you might not need the Summoner's Pact as much. Well, if you draw a payoff, this hand is nuts. I think I'm going to keep and just believe in the heart of the cards. We have 7 payoffs, so let's just do it. Our opponent mulliganed to 5. Okay. And it looks like they are playing the Affinity Stompy deck. Borne Upon a Wind, not a great draw. I will play the Duress. Triple Counter Magic. We'll take Force of Negation. Pass the turn. They drew Ancient Tomb, so they still only have 2 counter spells available. So if I could draw the payoff here, we would be able to beat this. We did not. I will pass the turn. They drew Lotus Petal, so now they actually have the ability to hard cast 1, but they don't have both. So this is the end of my window here. I think I'm supposed to cycle Manamorphose into Borne Upon a Wind to give myself the most looks. We'll make blue-red, and then we'll Borne Upon a Wind. Okay, it's got to be here. There we go. We'll play the Gemstone Mine, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, and Beseech the Mirror. They have 2 counter spells, but they can only play 1. I will Pact of Negation, and this is actually a pretty easy Gaia's Will line from here. Actually, I could just Beseech Chain. I can just go Beseech the Mirror, Tendrils of Agony, because that would be Storm 8, Storm 9, and they're at 18. Bargain the Lotus Petal, and Tendrils of Agony. Target you. Nice. And we win match number 1. How about that? Starting this league off 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2 on the draw, and I've opened up a turn 1 win, but we are facing someone who plays a lot of Dimir tempo, so this hand is not a guarantee. We'll keep and hope to draw a payoff spell. They play a turn 1 Ponder. Alright, come on, Pact of Negation. Ooh, that's actually really good. That gives us a nice backup plan. So I can turn 1 Necrodominance, and then if they counterspell it, I can try to win again next turn with Beseech the Mirror. Oh my, it just resolved. Oh my. Here we go. 19 life. We'll Elvish Spirit Guide, Summoner's Pact, grab another Elvish Spirit Guide, use it. So, by the looks of it, I did not hit a Borne Upon a Wind. We will Manamorphose. I will make blue-black, play a Dark Ritual, and now we'll Manamorphose again. Make red-red, another Pact of Negation. I'd like to Manamorphose again. We'll do red, and I did hit the Borne Upon a Wind there. If we didn't, I would have played the Valakut Awakening and then dug deeper, but no need. So now we can play all of our things at instant speed. Okay. And now we'll Beseech the Mirror, bargain away the Necrodominance, grab Tendrils of Agony. Nice. Alright, so we got game number 1. Now to the post-board games. I'm not really sure what they're playing other than the fact that it's blue. So once again, we'll bring in Duress. We saw white. White tends to have permanent hate, so maybe we want Beseiju Who Endures. I think we'll board out Summoner's Packs once again. We'll shave a Chrome Mox, a Beseech the Mirror, and then we need one more cut. I'm going to say a Cabal Ritual. Let's try this. We keep these. We keep these all day. Wow. What a hand. Prismatic Vista, they fetch for basic island. Cameo. Don't care about that. If I could open this hand every game this league, I would really, really like that. So if you could put that in your thoughts and prayers and all that other good jazz, I'd appreciate it. The Force of Will, we will Pact of Negation. Necrodominance, and now we'll pay 19 life. Exile Elvish Spirit Guide, exile Simian Spirit Guide. Once again, we did not hit the Borne Upon a Wind. We'll Manamorphose. We'll do blue, black. Play the Dark Ritual. We drew an Elvish Spirit Guide. We'll exile it. We'll cycle Manamorphose. Make red, red. Drew another Spirit Guide. Let's cycle Manamorphose again. We'll make red, black. Another Spirit Guide. Okay. I think we just have to cast Valakut Awakening for our entire hand here. So I have some concerns because we're putting all 3 copies of Beseech the Mirror on the bottom. So if I don't draw the Tendrils, maybe I'll keep a Beseech the Mirror. So that way I don't have to risk not drawing Tendrils of Agony. Because we're going to draw 18 cards, but it leaves 12 cards in the deck. So if one of them isn't the Tendrils, I would lose, but keeping one Beseech the Mirror makes sense to me. Because there's still 3 Borne Upon a Winds. Like, odds are I draw one. And I did. So we'll exile Simian Spirit Guide, Elvish Spirit Guide. Now I can play Dark Ritual, Borne Upon a Wind. We'll use the green. Let's Duress for good luck. See what they kept. A fine hand. Just not good enough. We'll play the Cabal Ritual and Tendrils of Agony. Back-to-back turn 1 wins. We're making it look easy. Nice. 2-0. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're facing someone who has a Goldfish history that's either lands or 8-cast. So they could be playing that new Affinity Stumpy deck or lands. We've opened up a hand where it's honestly just not very good. You don't have a payoff spell. No Beseech the Mirror, no Necrodominance. We'll send this one back. We have the Necrodominance. What we're lacking is a black mana. But if we wait till turn 2, we have one. Because we could Manamorphose. I think we keep. And then you bottom Borne Upon a Wind. Alright, let's see what we can manage here. Thespian Stage, so it's looking like lands. They play a Mox Diamond. Drew Cabal Ritual. We'll play Valakut Awakening and pass. So this is the matchup where I talked about Disruptor Flute being problematic. So we'll see if they have one in game number 1 here. They play a Mox Diamond. Gets rid of Taiga. Well, that's turn 2 lethal. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We'll exile Elvish Spirit Guide and Manamorphose. Black, black. Play Cabal Ritual and Necrodominance. Time to go to the end step. Looks like it's going to work. No Boseiju Who Endures. We will pay 19 life. Alright, exile Simian Spirit Guide, Simian Spirit Guide, another Simian Spirit Guide. We did not hit Borne Upon a Wind. We did put one on the bottom, so I'm not terribly surprised. We'll shuffle a Borne Upon a Wind back in. That's why I used the Summoner's Pack there. And now we can cycle Manamorphose. We'll do blue-black, play Dark Ritual, and now we'll cycle another copy of Manamorphose. Black-red. And we hit the Borne Upon a Wind. We'll play it. Storm is now 8. Play Lotus Petal, Cabal Ritual, and now we'll Beseech the Mirror with Bargain, sacrifice the Necrodominance. We'll grab Tendrils of Agony. Looks like we got away with our opponent not having any interaction in game number 1. No Boseijus, no Wastelands, no Disruptor Flutes. Pretty lucky. Alright, so now we're going into a tougher game where they're likely to have Disruptor Flute, crop rotation into Bazooka Bog. We didn't show them Guys well, so maybe they don't have it, but they definitely have Force of Vigor, things like that. I wonder if we're supposed to bring in a couple answers, like maybe a Duress or 2, or like Nature's Claim. I don't want to board down on Beseech the Mirror or Chromox, which are typical board outs. Like, I'd want to board out Summoner's Packs and like maybe 1 Cabal Ritual. So we'll do 2 Duress And is it Nature's Claim or is it Boseiju Who Endures? Boseiju costs more, but it is a mana source if you need it to be. But I think we'll do Boseiju Who Endures. Let's try this. I think this hand is kind of a trap. You'd have to draw Necrodominance. Beseech the Mirror wouldn't be good enough. We'll mulligan. Our opponent also took a mulligan down to 6. I'm debating right now whether or not you should keep this. Like, if I kept this, I would bottom Borne Upon a Wind. And then you have Duress to check for Disruptor Flute or Force of Vigor. The problem is, like, I just don't think this hand is that great. Like, you'd have to draw one of your 8 payoffs. They ended up keeping their 6. I'm going to go to 5. Unplayable. Down to 4. Okay. We'll get rid of Valakut Awakening, Borne Upon a Wind, and Simian Spirit Guide. They play Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. So I hit the Chrome Mox, which is interesting. I don't have the black mana yet. So there's still the fear of Force of Vigor. They play Urza's Saga, Wild Cantor, so that gives me the black. Am I supposed to wait? I guess I can play Boseiju and then just play Wild Cantor, and that saves me a mana at some point. Pass the turn. Saga goes to the second chapter. They have an Ancient Tomb. Damping Sphere. Okay. Not good. I guess I'm punished for waiting another turn. We'll play Chrome Mox, imprint Beseech, and then we'll attack. We are still capable of winning this. It's just going to be tough. They're at 15. They paid the... Oh, because the Damping Sphere shuts off their own Ancient Tomb. That's right. Okay. They grab a Mox Diamond. They play a Wasteland. They're keeping 2 mana open every turn, which makes me think they have Disruptor Flute. I'll cycle the Manamorphose. Black, green. Play Vault of Whispers. Exile. And then I can Beseech the Mirror and then pay for Necrodominance. Sacrifice the Vault of Whispers. We'll cast the Necro. Attempt to go to the end step. And they have Force of Vigor. Okay. We will go to the next one. I mean, we were still in that game. We needed Beseech the Mirror for Geisel that game. We just didn't really... We weren't able to do so. I'm going to submit again. I think I like my current setup. On the play. This is a turn 1 Beseech the Mirror. So that's great. I lose to a Force of Vigor. This hand does not have the resources to Geisel. I think you're supposed to keep it. Maybe I'm crazy, but they kept 7, which probably means they have a Force of Vigor. We'll play Lotus Petal, play Lotus Petal, Vault of Whispers, use the Spirit Guide, and Beseech the Mirror. We'll select Necrodominance. Attempt to go to my end step. Ooh, we actually got there. Nice. They paused for a while. Alright, 19 life. So we have a bunch of Spirit Guides and a Valakut Awakening. We did not hit Borne Upon a Wind. So we're going to make a bunch of mana. And now I will Valakut Awakening. So the question is, do you bottom the Pact of Negation? And I think the answer is yes. And then, do you keep Tendrils of Agony? We have 2 copies of Beseech the Mirror left, I believe. 3. So should you bottom everything, hoping to hit Morphos plus, what is it called? Borne Upon a Wind and one of our 3 remaining Beseech the Mirrors. I think I'm a coward and I'm going to keep the Tendrils. Alright, it looks like I'm rewarded. We'll use the Manamorphose. Blue-black, use a Spirit Guide, play Borne Upon a Wind, Chrome Mox, imprint Beseech the Mirror, Cabal Ritual, Chrome Mox, imprint Necrodominance, and Tendrils of Agony. I can't Duress here, I'm a mana short. Wow. We got lucky that their hand just didn't have Force of Vigor. But I'll take luck. We're 3-0, doing pretty well. Let's try to win match number 4. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. Round number 4 on the draw. So we've opened up multiple copies of Necrodominance, which is great. It allows you some resilience. My fear with this hand, you're a mana short and you have no permanent mana sources, and we are likely facing someone on a control deck. So the second Necrodominance and the Beseech the Mirror aren't likely to be relevant, because if the first one doesn't work, you're dead. I think I'd like to mulligan this. If I was against somebody who played non-blue, I would keep. but this hand is just too fragile. Like, you would need your opponent to have absolutely nothing, and you'd have to get lucky and draw a mana source. So I'll send it back. I mean, this actually casts your Necrodominance, so we'll keep. I mean, this is better than the 7. They have a Prismatic Vista, and they pass. That was not a Summoner's or not Summoner's Pact, Pact of Negation. We'll use the Elvish Spirit Guide. Let's Manamorphose. See if I can draw one off the Manamorphose. We'll make black. We did not draw Pact of Negation. Play Chromox, and then we'll imprint Cabal Ritual. This way, if I draw another Necrodominance, I can cast it next turn. Necro on the stack. Please resolve. Yes! And trigger? Wow, all of my blue opponents just not having interaction today. Alright, 19 cards. We'll exile Elvish Spirit Guide. There's some Simian Spirit Guides. Once again, we did not draw Borne Upon a Wind. That card is adverse to being in my hand. Alright, we'll use Summoner's Pact. Grab Elvish Spirit Guide. We'll Summoner's Pact again. Grab the last Elvish Spirit Guide. And now we'll play the final Summoner's Pact. And grab the Wild Cantor. Just thinning our deck a little bit. So that way we're more likely to win. There's a Manamorphose down here. I'll drag it to the end. We'll use these Spirit Guides. And now we'll use the Manamorphose. We'll use 2 green. We'll make blue and black. Blue, black. I drew and Beseech the Mirror, which is not good enough. Let's play Cabal Ritual and then Valakut Awakening. We're going to draw half of our deck here. I wonder if I should keep the other Valakut Awakening as backup. Probably. We'll get rid of the Pact of Negation. Play Dark Ritual. Did I miss? I missed on the Borne Upon a Wind. I actually did. I missed on Borne Upon a Wind. I'm glad I guess I drew the other Valakut Awakening as well, but that's surprising. We'll play 2 Dark Rituals. And we'll Valakut Awakening again. I swear it's in the deck. So I think I'm going to keep a Dark Ritual, but maybe that's silly. Don't need to keep the Valakut Awakening. Alright. I don't even know how many cards I've selected here, but I think that this is fine. So I'm keeping Dark Ritual, Tendrils of Agony, Pact of Negation. Alright, so I can finally play Borne Upon a Wind. They're now fetching in response. For a Plains. They're cycling Cast Out. Interesting inclusion. Okay. And now they're going to Force Will, pitching Shark Typhoon. Maybe you should have done that with Necrodominance on the stack. Alright, so Eldark Ritual. I think I'd like to kill them in response to this because that's the most fun. And now we'll Manamorphose, make blue. We'll cast Borne Upon a Wind, Lotus Petal, and Tendrils of Agony. Nice Force of Will. Oh, wow. Okay, so we need to get a post-board game, but things are looking decent. We'll bring in Boseiju Who Endures and Duress. Board out the Summoner's Pacts. Shave at least 1 Cabal Ritual. I'm going to shave 2 Cabal Rituals, and it's either a Beseech the Mirror or a Valakut Awakening, or a Chrome Mox. We'll do Chrome Mox. I worry about boarding out so much mana, because I just boarded out 6 pieces of mana, but the games are slower post-board. Unfortunately, I mean, if I knew my top card was a good one, I would keep this. Like, if it was Necrodominance, whew. But I think you're supposed to send that back. Our opponent's taking a mulligan to 5. Against Better Judgment, I'm going to keep this and we'll bottom the Borne Upon a Wind. Alright, they're on 5 cards. They play Flooded Strand. We drew Valakut Awakening. I'm going to play this because that means next turn I can cycle Manamorphose. They fetch on the end step, likely for a Meticulous Archive. And they do. They put 1 card on top of their library. They play an island. Meddling Mage. Okay. So this is a great reason to have the Beseech the Mirror for Guy's Will line in your deck. If they name Tendrils, I actually can't win. I just realized that. So we'll see what they name. They select Necrodominance. Okay, so Guy's Will it is. We draw the Tendrils. Okay, so I wonder if there's a world in which we just sit pretty now and try to build up a Storm turn. I'm not sure. They play land number 3. Alright, well, Teferi shuts off Beseech the Mirror. So that's very good for them. Ah, brutal. And it also shuts off my Pact of Negation. So the only way I can win this now would be Tendrils from hand. We draw a Cabal Ritual. I'm going to just pass. They downtick the Teferi Time Raveler. Now they're going to cycle a Lorien Revealed for a Tundra. So that probably means that they're not playing a splash color. if they didn't grab like a volcanic island or something there. They attack for 2. Dark Ritual. So we can just get rid of this Pact of Negation. It doesn't help us in this spot. They plus the Teferi Time Raveler. They're at 19. Lotus Petal. Alright, let's see if we can somehow trick them into letting us win. Dark Ritual. We want them to interact at some point. And now we'll Manamorphose. We will do red, black, Beseech the Mirror. That seems like a card that they might Force of Will. We'll play Lotus Petal. Let's cycle this Manamorphose. Green, black. I don't think I can get to Threshold, which is what I'm trying to do here, but it doesn't hurt to try. Wild Cantor. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we'll sacrifice for red and blue. No, let's do black. We'll play Cabal Ritual. And now a Cabal Ritual with Threshold. We would like this to resolve. I'm 1 storm short. No. So I can Beseech the Mirror for Dark Ritual, but that means that I can't cast the Tendrils, so they'll go to 1 here, and then I can't win. So close. Okay. I came really close to winning that. We needed, like, a duress there. Let's try it again. Game 3 on the play. This is a turn 1 win with Pact of Negation backup. Okay. They also kept 7. Don't know if I like that. Dark Ritual. Necrodominance. They Force of Will. I will Pact of Negation. Necro. Alright, deck, don't fail me. Let's look at 19 cards. Let's see it. I see 1 Elvish Spirit Guide so far. There's a Simian Spirit Guide. I think we got it. So now we'll Manamorphose. Blue, black, Dark Ritual. Borne Upon a Wind. Dark Ritual. Chrome Mox. Imprint Beseech the Mirror. Dark Ritual. Chrome Mox. We'll imprint Wild Cantor, Lotus Petal. Let's duress them for good luck. And Sign to Memory cast out. I mean, that was a hand. And we'll cast Tendrils of Agony for lethal. Boom. Alright, so we're 4-0 with Necrodominance Combo. This legacy deck that costs less than $1,000. With my preferred versions, the deck is $1,000. But if you play versions that I wouldn't play with, like white border cards, you could build this deck for $850 to $900. So, you know, pretty budget affordable legacy deck in the grand scheme of things. And, well, we're about to go play for a trophy. Hopefully we get there. Want early access to articles at theepicstorm.com? Become a member of our Patreon to get articles 7 days early, on top of other sweet benefits, and help us pay our website team. You can sign up at patreon.com/theepicstorm. The 5th and final round, we are on the play. It'd be nice to get an easy matchup for the trophy. I don't know if that will be possible. Alright, so this has a Necrodominance in it, but we cannot make 3 black. And we're actually pretty far away from 3 black. So you'd have to draw Manamorphose, Dark Ritual, or Cabal Ritual. I think we should just mulligan. This one's really close. We don't have triple black again. We have to send it back. Best hand we've seen. Alright, so we'll keep bottom Beseech the Mirror. If I bottom a land... Sorry, I'm just trying to think through this. If I bottom a land, we can Summoner's Pact for Elvish Spirit Guide, Manamorphose. Technically, you don't even have... No, you do have to Manamorphose. And then that gives you 3 black. Okay. Vault of Whispers, Lotus Petal. We will Summoner's Pact. It does make winning a little bit more tough because there's 1 less Spirit Guide in the deck now and 1 less Manamorphose. So we're casting Manamorphose, and then we'll make 2 black mana. We draw Valakut Awakening. Necrodominance. And it resolves! Okay. Be good to me, deck. Pretty please. We're going to pay 19 life. I am not seeing a lot of Spirit Guides here. Okay, there's 2 at the end. So we'll exile those. I see a Borne Upon a Wind. Did we hit a Manamorphose? We did. So we'll play Manamorphose. Blue, black. We drew the Guy's Will. We'll play the Borne Upon a Wind. Now we'll play Chrome Mox. And we'll imprint Necrodominance. Like that. Now we'll play Lotus Petal. Our opponent's pausing on everything, which, you know, you're more than welcome to do. You don't have to use your F6 key. I get it. That said, if you had something, you would have used it by now. So I'm not falling for all of these pauses. They play a Chrome Mox. We'll imprint the... Actually, I don't want to show them Guy's Will. There's no reason to show them that we have a sideboard angle. We'll imprint the Wild Cantor. I'll play Cabal Ritual. And now Tendrils of Agony. Alright. and the opponent concedes. So our opponent has one result, and it is Eldrazi from a couple years ago. I might disrespect here and just board out the Pact of Negations. If I get punished, I get punished, I think. And then we're on the play for game 3. That is a turn 1 Necrodominance, and we have Elvish Spirit Guide into Nature's Claim. Wow. Okay. We will keep. We have Ancient Tomb and Null Rod. Okay. End step. Why don't you gain 4 life? We'll play Vault of Whispers, Chrome Mox. We'll imprint the Manamorphose, play the the Lotus Petal, Cabal Ritual, and Necrodominance with 1 mana open. And now we're going to pay 19 with a mana open, which is pretty darn good. Okay, things are looking good right now. Did we just 5-0 with Necrodominance? Oh my. We'll make a blue, Borne Upon a Wind, use that Elvish Spirit Guide. Alright, it looks like we don't have it yet. I mean, we're in a decent spot, we just don't have it yet. I have to draw Tendrils. We'll Dark Ritual, and now we'll Valakut Awakening. I'm going to keep the other Valakut Awakening as backup in case things go south. Okay. Dark Ritual. Let's Cabal Ritual. Use the Simian Spirit Guide. Play a Lotus Petal. Elvish Spirit Guide. Let's Manamorphose. Red. Green. Now I will Beseech the Mirror. Sacrifice Necrodominance. And we'll put Tendrils of Agony on the stack. Storm 15. And it looks like it's resolving. We just went 5-0 with Necrodominance. Nice. Love that. And that, I mean, I'm going to brag here for a second. I'm now, I believe I'm second on the trophy leaderboard. I've been doing so well with the Epic Storm that I am now in second. I don't know. I'm not usually one that cares about the trophy race, but I mean, I still really don't, if I'm being honest with you, but I've been winning so much that I just happen to be up here. I'm not really a trophy grinder like I do content. It's just I've been having a lot of success this league season, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I love the deck list. I don't think we actually got to use Guy's Will this league, but it was an out a couple of times. We just didn't end up actually using the out. So I would play the Guy's Will again. I really would. I wouldn't change a single card in this deck list. I thought it was pretty great. Let me know what you think of the deck list in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the fastest deck in Legacy, going 5-0. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.